Well, good morning, everyone. This is Doug Bourgeois with the Louisiana Office of Tourism. This webinar is part of our Sunshine Recovery Plan. This is the plan that we developed for the recovery of our tourism industry from the impacts of COVID-19 and now Hurricanes Laura and, of course, Delta. You know, we needed a plan. You know, failing to plan is pretty much planning to fail. So that's how we came up with the Sunshine Plan. The past few months have been rough for our industry, and as I tell the story, sometimes I felt like a squirrel in the middle of the road, not knowing which way to go, because one way you're hit with something, the other way you're hit with something, but we needed to have a plan. And you can learn more about that Sunshine Plan that we developed at LouisianaSunshinePlan.com. There you'll find a flip book, which will outlay pretty much an overview of the plan we have to recover the tourism industry here in Louisiana. This webinar is just one of the first. We're planning a whole series of webinars that will cover a variety of topics, such as developing content, Facebook event promotion, tips for pitching sporting events, storytelling tips, and much, much more. We'll be releasing this schedule very soon, as well as some other new products that we have coming to you to help our partners recover. This particular webinar is coming to you through a partnership between LOT and Miles Media to provide a Google Recovery Toolkit. This is going to be absolutely free to all of our partners. In your invitation to this webinar, you received from me the instructions to log into this toolkit. And I really encourage you to take advantage of this opportunity. We have this toolkit available until September 2021. It has over 100 different educational articles that are already available in the toolkit, and they're adding more and more each day. You can access the toolkit by visiting louisiana.tourismbusinessmarketing.com. Log in using your Google account, and then you use your passcode that we sent you, Louisiana. So let's get started. I know your time is valuable, so I'd like to pass this on to Josh Ray with Miles Media, who will be leading today's webinar. Josh?
Cool. Well, thank you, Doug. I appreciate the intro there. Again, our thoughts and prayers go out to all those affected by COVID-19, as well as all the hurricanes that have impacted the state. I'm looking forward to diving into this presentation with each and every one of you. Thank you for taking time to attend today's webinar. There's going to be a lot of information specific to Google, and we're also going to talk about some additional online listings, listing channels like Yelp, TripAdvisor, as well as Facebook. So it won't be only limited to the Google ecosystem. So getting into kind of the meat of it, again, my name is Josh Ray. I'm the program specialist for Miles Partnership. And this virtual workshop is brought to you by LOT, or the Louisiana Office of Tourism, in an effort to help community businesses maximize exposure digitally and share critical COVID-19 response information with visitors. So what we're going to talk about today is just a number of ways where you can share updates, make sure that the information from your businesses is showing correctly, as well as you're taking advantage of all the tools and resources that each individual platform has created to respond to COVID-19. First off, Doug had mentioned the Online Local Marketing Academy. This is a resource center that is specific to LOT. And as he mentioned as well, there's constantly new articles and new content being added to this portal. You'll have 12-month access, so you'll have a year to be able to go in and access all of the resources found within. There's a newer badge feature, which gives you the ability to kind of track your progress and then share those badges out to show that you've become an expert in the realm of maybe SEO, Google Analytics, content marketing, social media, and more, all in regards to your online presence. There's also emails that will come through to help you maintain engagement as new articles are posted. So we definitely recommend gaining access to the Academy. As Doug mentioned in his email, he has the information, he has sent out the information for you to gain access to this resource center, but we're going to kind of just follow some steps here That way each of you are aware of that process. So the website is going to be louisiana.tourismbusinessmarketing.com/site-login. And then the password is going to be Louisiana. So what you'll do is you'll see this pop-up page appear here. Go ahead and click sign up with Google. Use your Gmail account. If you don't have a Gmail account, you'll just select that create account option and get a Gmail account so you can then gain access to the resource center. Go ahead and type in your password if you have the account. And then from there, you'll just type in Louisiana for the access code to gain access to the Local Marketing Academy. Again, there's more than 100 articles covering a variety of digital marketing topics. So you've got Google Analytics, SEO best practices, and other general digital advertising best practices, and much, much more. There are quite a few updates covering COVID-19 features and functionality that build beyond what we're going to present today. So if you want to dive a bit deeper into that realm, we definitely recommend checking out those resources. Here's just kind of a quick overview of one of the COVID-19 articles included inside of the Local Marketing Academy. So again, this kind of builds off of what we're going to cover today. So if you want to dive a bit deeper, we definitely recommend checking that out. You can also sort through articles by the topic tags. So if you're looking for help specific to reputation management or social media tips and tricks, you can sort through the content based off of those topic tags. And as you read and complete articles, you'll gain badges. And so read 2 articles for the newbie, 5 articles for the rookie badge, 10 articles for skilled. And then you can share updates about those badges out from either your social channels or maybe include them on your website as well to show how you've progressed through the Local Marketing Academy. As you earn badges, what you have to do is, or in order to earn badges, as you complete articles, you'll just check the bottom of each article as complete. There'll be a little prompt for you to do that, and then that will track your overall progress. And what we'll do is we'll periodically remind you of the status and recommend new content as that appears. So again, those email reminders will periodically be sent over to you to keep you engaged with this resource center. One of the other fantastic resources inside of the Local Marketing Academy is the help desk. So what this means is if you have any questions that are specific to the content found within the Marketing Academy, or really any digital marketing questions that you can't find answers to online, go to this Ask a Question option. And what will happen is as you submit the question, our team at Miles Partnership will field through those questions and then answer them promptly. And so this is great if you have a tricky issue, maybe specific to your Google My Business listing that you can't get figured out. You tried working with Google support and that hasn't worked. You can work with us and our team of experts, and we can help you get the issues squared away. So this is one of the really fantastic tools in the Marketing Academy, and that just allows direct access to our team at Miles Partnership, so we can help you out with any questions that you might come across. Now getting into kind of the meat of today's presentation, and that is sharing updates about what your business is doing and being able to share information so customers and guests can confidently make decisions on visiting not only your business, but also the destination as a whole. And as we all know, safety is top of mind for today's travelers. And they're looking for information that they can trust before they choose to visit. And they're likely going to be looking at one or maybe many of the different review sites like Yelp, TripAdvisor, Google, and Facebook to make decisions based off of where they're going to travel and how they're going to travel. Here's a little graph here showing just kind of the interest of what type of information or COVID-19 specific information has been sought out recently. Hours, restrictions, closures being one that we want to talk about today. It's really easy to make sure that that information is correct and up to date. And what we'll get into is kind of the different steps and processes in order to do that in the best way for your business. So 3 of the keys that we're going to cover are going to be focusing on establishing safety first within your business, sharing information about how you're doing that, and then growing visibility based off of photos and generating reviews for your different listings. So kicking it off here with establishing safety, take steps to keep customers and employees healthy. Now, one of the things I didn't do at the beginning was just go over quick housekeeping items. Two of them being, if you have questions, we're gonna have time for questions and answers at the end. Or you can also ask a question in the chat box. Casey on our team can respond to any questions that appear in the chat box. If you want to wait till the end, we'll have time for a live Q&A. This session is being recorded, and what we'll do is send over the recording as well as the PDF to the LOT team, and in that way they can distribute to all of the registrants. So you'll get access to the recording as well as the PDF, and then you can share that out with maybe additional team members within your business. Okay. So diving in here to this example of how safety doesn't necessarily have to be boring. So we've come across numerous examples online of how businesses have kind of had fun with sharing updates about what they're doing to combat and reduce the spread of COVID-19. Feel free to get creative with your solutions. Give customers a reason to feel safe based off the content information that you're sharing. But there's also opportunity to kind of have some fun with the content information that you share out with that. So one of our recommendations is it doesn't have to be boring. Doesn't have to be, you don't have to limit the creativity when it comes to the content and information that you're sharing out in regards to kind of your current business practices, what has changed, and maybe new updates from your business listings. Just some numbers here show that 86% of consumers say cleanliness will be very important when selecting an accommodation after COVID-19. So one of the things you can do is talk about that specifically from your different listing channels, and we'll show you some different options, whether it be through a Google post or in your description, or maybe one of your safety measure updates on TripAdvisor. There's a lot of different avenues that you can share information out from your business. So think about the different ways that you want to share that, and then we'll show you some different or some opportunities within the listing channels to do so. Another metric here shows that 82% say that disinfecting of high contact surfaces will be very important for consideration when deciding to book tours, activities, and attractions. So again, sharing that information is going to be critical for inspiring confidence within your future guests and travelers. Now getting into sharing information. So make sure potential customers know what's different now versus how your business might have been operating previous to COVID-19. So getting into some of the different high visibility platforms, like mentioned, we're not going to only talk about Google today. We'll also touch on Yelp, TripAdvisor, and Facebook. And some of the best practices kind of align from channel to channel, and you'll see kind of where that overlap happens here. Some numbers specific to Google and Google Maps. The Maps product generates 3 billion direct connections between businesses and users per month. They definitely own the space in terms of Maps usage mobilely. 79% of consumers who use navigation apps as part of leisure travel use Google Maps. So majority of those consumers are using the Google products. So you just want to make sure that your information is correct and consistent and up to date when it comes to your Google presence, since the majority of people traveling are using those products. And then 67% of survey respondents cited use of Maps Explore Nearby feature as part of a researching or booking a recent trip. Now, if you don't know, or maybe you're not familiar with the Explore Nearby tool, that appears on Google Maps in the mobile app. If you type in Louisiana or your destination, town, parish specifically, Google will provide the Explore Nearby option, and then you can look at all of the top attractions, restaurants, and other recommended points of interest and businesses to visit. And that's a tool that a lot of people use when traveling. I know for me, I'm currently on the road right now, and it's kind of one of the go-to resources that I use to figure out where to eat and what to do when I'm traveling to a new place. So again, if you're unfamiliar with the Explore Nearby tool, just search your name or your destination name or your parish. And as you do that in the mobile app, that will then bring up the Explore Nearby, and then you can kind of see how Google generates the different content and opportunities and points of interest within that tool. Now talking about the local pack or the top 3 search results inside of Google search. This is what happens when you search for a specific keyword in a location inside of Google search. And one of the ways for businesses to help or work towards appearing in that local pack or top 3 search results is by having an up-to-date business profile. It's essentially what we're looking at with this graph here. By having a complete and up-to-date profile, it's one of the key factors in ranking higher in Google search and can mean the difference between you and a competitor ending up in the top 3 search results inside of Google. So it's really important to make sure that your information is up to date and that you're also making use of all the features and tools and resources available inside of Google My Business to show that you're an engaged user of the product, and that can help your listing gain more exposures. Now, getting into some of the numbers for Yelp, oftentimes people kind of throw around the question of, well, what should I be focused on? What should be my priority? And we kind of have this slide deck kind of laid out in that way of Google obviously kind of owns the space in terms of the Maps app product and the Maps tool. Therefore, making sure that you have updated that listing is critically important, but you don't want to forget about Yelp and TripAdvisor. They still play a critical role. One of the reasons is that Yelp reviews and content pulls in automatically into Apple Maps for the time being. And so those exposures, majority of the Yelp exposures are actually coming in from people that use their iPhones and specifically Apple Maps for their travel tips and tricks and for the travel resource. 45% of customers are likely to check Yelp reviews before visiting a business. So we're probably all pretty guilty of checking reviews. Before we visit a business, we want to know what people say. We want to know, the negative experiences, the positive experiences. We want to see business owners respond to reviews, and that will help us make a decision more confidently of whether or not we're going to visit that business. And then 35% of people searching on Yelp will make a visit to the site. They check within 24 hours. So real time is important. And this is one of the reasons why having correct and up-to-date information is critically important. It's because people are taking that information and likely going to apply it that day, whether or not they're going to actually step foot in that business or in that point of interest. And then some numbers here for TripAdvisor. So again, don't forget about TripAdvisor. If you don't have access to your listings, we have some steps here on how to gain access that we'll get into in just a minute. Now, TripAdvisor has 463 million unique visitors monthly across mobile, desktop, and app platforms. According to a customer survey in 2020, have spent up to 5 hours in the last week planning their trip post-COVID-19. And 53% of respondents said they would do more research when planning their trip for COVID-19. So people are looking for information. They want to know how businesses, again, are combating COVID-19, reducing the spread, what they're doing to up their sanitation practices, maybe set up their seating a bit different. And these listing channels is the first place we'd recommend going to provide updates about what your business is doing in regards to COVID-19. And then Facebook. Facebook has more than 2.7 billion monthly active users. They're becoming a bit more active in the world of reviews and generating reviews and information for businesses. Facebook's definitely making more effort in becoming more of a travel tool in that way. So there's a lot of features available for Facebook pages. So we'll get into some of the opportunities here in a little bit. But 76% of surveyed 18 to 34-year-old travelers in the US who are weekly users of Facebook use Facebook for travel-related activities. So you don't want to forget your Facebook page and the idea of it being more of a review page for your business. You want to make sure that you are not only just building community and sharing fun posts and updates for your business, but that you're also looking at it as a potential travel planning tool for your future visitors and guests. Now, some of the first steps. You want to make sure that you have access to a claimed Google My Business listing. And the first thing you can do to check in on that, if you're not too sure whether or not your business has been claimed or you have access to it, is to just type in your business name inside of Google search, or you can also do that on Google Maps. What we're looking at here on the left-hand side is what's known as the Google My Business profile or the Google Business profile. Once you type in the name of your business, that business profile will appear. As you scroll down on the business profile, you might see this shield with a check mark icon or logo and claim this business. That typically always means that your business has not been claimed yet, which means anybody can claim it, but the best person to claim it is likely you or someone who is in charge of the business. Maybe a manager or an owner or an employee who kind of focuses on the digital presence for the business. So what you can do is click claim the business and follow the prompts to gaining access. If you don't have the claim this business icon showing there, and you for sure know that you don't have access to the GMB dashboard or the back end of that listing, you might have to request access, and that's kind of a process in itself. And so we actually have a link here for setting up office hours. I'm going to have Casey include the link in the chat box since we can't click the link here. That way you can set up or schedule time with me to go through gaining access to your listing. I can kind of provide a quick audit and overview of your listing with recommendations. And I can also assist you with getting verified. So within Google My Business, there's kind of two processes. The first is claiming your business, which will give you access to the dashboard. You can upload photos and manage the information, but you're kind of limited with all the tools and features if you've only claimed it. By taking the next step in verifying your listing, you're now recognized from Google or by Google as a verified listing, which can help your ranking inside of Google search on maps and in the search product. You can also respond to reviews and check your insights and more once you've verified. So we recommend getting verified. I can help you with that today or following a following date if you decide to schedule office hours with me. And I'll make sure to include a little reminder at the end of the presentation. It looks like we've got, yep, Casey went ahead and included the office hours in the Zoom group chat. So just go to the chat option inside of Zoom, click on that link, and you can schedule time with me to, again, assist you with your listing. It doesn't have to just be Google. I can help you out with your Yelp and TripAdvisor as well as Facebook page, and we can kind of just do a quick overview of your presence online and provide any kind of support that you might need. Okay. Yelp, follow the process for claiming your listing there. Yelp will typically show you when a business has been unclaimed. This is an example of that here. That will show up next to the name of the business. You can click on that and follow the prompts, or you can click on this prompt here, which says claim this business, and then sign in, and you'll essentially gain access to your listing by clicking on this and following the prompts there. So that will gain you access to your Yelp listing, which will then give you the ability to edit all of the backend information and have complete control over your content information showing. And this is going to be critically important for sharing COVID-19 updates. You want to make sure that you have access to all of your listings, and then that will then ensure that you're able to share those COVID-19 responses, updates, services from each of your listings. Same thing goes for TripAdvisor. You just want to make sure that you have access to that. You can either click on the improve this listing prompt if your business exists inside of TripAdvisor. If it doesn't exist and you need to create a business presence inside of the TripAdvisor product, you can go directly to tripadvisor.com/owners to gain access to your listing or to create a listing if it's not existing on TripAdvisor. And then Facebook, same thing goes for your page. You'll want to create a page if it doesn't exist. Select business or brand, depending on what kind of business you operate, and go ahead and begin your process in creating the Facebook page. Make sure you fill out all of the information and tools available. That way you have and start off with a complete listing. Facebook is definitely a bit different than Yelp, TripAdvisor, and Google in the way that Facebook's meant to be a bit more communal. You'll have people that can follow your page, and you can share posts and updates and kind of have a bit more engagement within that community versus more of like the review style pages. But it's definitely important to not forget about the travel planning side of Facebook and how people might use the information shown there. So it's critically important to include all of the pertinent information about your business on your Facebook page. So going back into Google My Business, these are kind of the boxes we just recommend starting with checking at the beginning once you've claimed or gained access to your Google My Business profile. And that is check your business name. Make sure everything's spelled correctly. Last thing you want is for there to be misspelling, and then that can affect how your business appears in searches. Maybe people won't be able to find it. So make sure your business name is correct. Your address is correct, phone number, website, and description. Now, this is going to be the same for all of your listing channels across the board. You want to make sure that there's consistency. There can be some SEO issues for your business presence online if you have a different address on Google versus what's on your Facebook page versus what's on your website. So you want to make sure that there's a consistency among that information across channels. It's really important. Business hours are also critically important to travelers and how they make decisions based on visiting your business or not. It impacts the visibility of your listing, Google, it impacts how Google shows your listing, and again, can potentially deter somebody from visiting your business if they can't find your hours on their page. Now, a lot of the platforms like Google, Yelp, and Facebook will actually show an open now prompt on your listing, and this can help future guests in confidently making a decision of visiting your business because they'll see that you're open now. If they don't see that, it might be just enough of missing information for them to go seek out another business that does have that information. And I know for me, when I'm traveling and I expect a business to be open based off of what they have on Google, and you drive across town maybe 15, 20 minutes and show up and that business is closed, it's a bit of a letdown and a bummer. And it doesn't make the business look good. So you want to make sure that you've included your hours. Again, because it does impact consumer confidence. And there are also two different ways to update business hours. You'll have your consistent everyday hours, and there's also opportunities to update special hours. And those would be like short-term changes to your business operating hours. And that could be like construction, or maybe you're closing down for a private party, things like that. You can share those updates via the special hours feature, and we're going to show you how to do that. Okay. So for long-term changes to business hours, let's say your hours have changed due to COVID-19, and your hours are maybe shorter or more condensed throughout the week. Be sure that that is correct and updated. Google will actually show when your hours were last updated on your business profile to users. And so if it doesn't show, or maybe it says 8 months ago was the last time the hours were updated, that might be, again, enough of a deterrent for somebody to not visit your business. So you want to make sure that that's correct and updated. And if you close on certain days, make sure that that has been applied inside of your Google My Business profile as well. Now, there's a separate section, as mentioned, called special hours. And this can be specific to holidays or just one-off closure days, maybe for, again, construction or a special party. So what you want to do is kind of just periodically check in on the special hours function as holidays approach. And that way you can confirm your hours for holidays. One quick tip there in regard to that is if your hours don't change, if they're the same as they would normally be on any other operating day for a holiday, still confirm them. That way Google can confidently share that information from your listing. So if someone pulls up your business profile, Google will show that you are open. If you don't do that, Google will say these business hours may be impacted due to the holiday, and therefore that could be, again, enough of a deterrent to move that future guest onto another business. So confirm your holiday hours, even if they're the same as they would normally be. Make sure you've updated if they do change, and then any other days that you might have that come up in the near future, add those in. That way people can confidently know when your business is open and operating. Now, on top of special hours inside of Google My Business, there is a more hours feature. So a lot of different hours options inside of GMB. This is new as of June, and this is more specific to restaurant type categories or listings inside of Google. And they're specific to unique offerings. So you've got happy hour offerings, senior hours, pickup, access brunch, delivery. If you see the more hours feature inside of your listing, go ahead and click on it and see if there's anything that is applicable to your business. I'll just say this now, there may or may not be, depending on the type of category or the business type that you operate. And that's kind of the across the board inside of Google My Business. There'll be some features that are specific to a specific category type and other features or attributes that don't show up for another category. So if you're kind of following along, maybe you're even looking at your Google My Business profile right now, you don't see the same options, it's likely due to how you're categorized. Okay. Along the same lines in Yelp, you can set up your normal business hours as well as special hours, and functions very similar to the same way as Google. So make sure that you've updated it there. So kind of just have your checklist ready to go. If you're going to sit down and spend an hour after today's call and just kind of go through all your channels, make sure that you start with Google and then make sure the information is the same on Yelp and then on TripAdvisor and then on Facebook. So you don't want there to be disinformation or information doesn't line up across channels. Okay. Facebook shows the different services hours as well as the typical hours that are applied to the business. That you can kind of see that in this example here for this business. You can edit the hours information by going to the About section for the page and then click on Edit Page Info and then select Temporary Service Changes, and then that way that has been updated from your Facebook page. Now getting into distributing updates. So best practices for sharing information from your online listings. You want to think about sharing updates across multiple platforms because you don't necessarily know where every traveler or what tool every traveler is going to use. So therefore, sharing across platforms is just a great way to kind of blast or share that information and get it out there to someone who's looking for it. And then don't just post once, maintain information for as long as it seems relevant. So if you've got events coming up or new product, new services that you want to talk about, make sure that you're kind of keeping that messaging alive rather than just posting once and expecting everyone to be aware of it. Provide visitors with helpful information about current circumstances. So again, what has changed in regards to how your business operates, maybe your service changes, your hours, maybe you've upped your sanitation practices. Share those updates again so you can inspire confidence for future guests. And then focus on that safety information for those visitors. And then be brief and link to more information on your website when needed. So sometimes you can kind of put or layer in little teasers within your posts about kind of what you're doing. And just enough information that you kind of encourage somebody to click through for more information on your site. It's a great way to kind of inspire or encourage more organic traffic to your site. And then now, more than ever, it's really important to be genuine, to be authentic, to be gracious. There's a lot of words that we could probably include here in regards to how you post online from your business. But I'd say genuine is one of the most important factors to kind of think about as you're sharing updates from your business during these challenging times for everyone. In regard to sharing posts from Google, there's an option called Google My Business Posts. This is a feature that's free, and it's a great way to share updates directly to your business listing in Google search. So posts only appear on your profile inside of Google search, but it's a great way to kind of extend information. And going back to sharing across multiple channels, it doesn't mean that you have to have different posts going out from different channels. You can kind of tailor the messaging, maybe the content a little bit different, but it can be essentially the same content that you're sharing from Google, that you're updating on Facebook, that you're also sharing out on Yelp and TripAdvisor. So once you're logged into your dashboard for your business profile, select the post option. You can choose from one of the different post features at the top, or you can go down to the bottom and click the new post, create a new post, and then start working on sharing either COVID-19 specific updates, maybe a new offer, maybe what's new. And then again, this will appear inside of your business profile within Google search. Now, some quick updates about posts. They're free, so there's no cost associated with posts at this time. They're trackable with views and clicks or with your own analytics code. So Google will show you the amount of click-throughs that post has received, as well as the amount of views. They're visual, so you can share updates about, maybe what has changed with photos and videos. So you kind of have creative direction over what gets posted, rather than an algorithm or computer just kind of automatically generating, which is kind of how Google My Business works in a lot of ways. This is one of the few areas that you as a business owner or as a manager have that complete creative direction over. And then they're engaging, so you can include direct links to more info on your website. So it's a great way to collect more click-through traffic to your website. Now, beyond just Google, you can also share health and safety updates inside of Yelp. There are new current offerings that you can apply, additional safety measures, update your hours of operation. We already went through that, your special hours. And then really important to include on your Yelp is a banner message for your page. This will give customers additional updates at the top of your Yelp page. So this will show up at the top of your Yelp page, and it's a great kind of quick way to share what is new to your business and how your operations have been affected or changed during COVID-19 recovery. In regards to health and safety updates, those will also appear at the top of your Yelp listing. You can kind of see an example of how that shows here. And then similar to Google My Business, Yelp also shows when your business hours were last updated. And so that's another great way to inspire confidence in somebody visiting your business. If they see that you last updated your hours today or yesterday or a month ago, they'll have a better chance of knowing that you'll be open, since that was a recent edit. And then business pages and Facebook have access to new information, as well as functionality via the COVID-19 tab inside of Facebook for page owners. You can find more information specific to COVID-19 and updates, as well as access a list of resources for small businesses navigating through the pandemic within that resource center. So definitely recommend checking that out and seeing what might be available to you. You can also mark a post specific to or specific within a COVID-19 update. And this will then mark to the top of your Facebook page. And it's just another way to share with your followers what you are currently doing and how you're operating during these times. The functionality for creating a COVID-19 is the same for a post on Facebook, but what it will basically do is specifically indicate information that is COVID-19 updated or related, and will have the opportunity for more visibility than just a regular piece of content you'd share. So Facebook will likely prioritize how and where that post gets shown, more so than a typical Facebook post. Okay. And then within TripAdvisor, you can share a property's response or business response to COVID-19. So kind of like we saw with Yelp with the banner message, you could use that same message and apply it to TripAdvisor. And this will just be something specific to how your business is operating. And that way people can read that, and you can instill more confidence in them based off of what has changed for your business. Now, the attributes and amenities changes and updates due to COVID-19. Attributes definitely are a critical piece of information. They do influence business visibility. And it's a great way to identify the relevance of your business for specific types of user searches or filters applied when searching. So be sure that you've selected and updated all of the appropriate attributes for your business across channels. So wherever those attributes or amenities are available, select that which are applicable to your business. And then there's considerable value in attributes beyond recently added options related to COVID-19. For example, users may be searching for wheelchair accessible businesses, kid-friendly establishments, or other audience-specific needs. And that's where attributes come into play when people are getting more and more specific in their searches or the filters that they're applying when looking for places to eat, things to do, as well as properties to stay at. Now, Google My Business, beyond their normal attributes list, also created some newer categories that are applicable. So go through the attributes within the info tab inside of your Google My Business listing and apply the attributes that are applicable for your business. It might be curbside pickup, no contact delivery, dine-in options, as well as online classes, online estimates, online appointments. Those are all some of the newer attributes that Google has recently released. And now we're kind of seeing how attributes come into play from the user side of things. So if I'm using Google Maps and I'm looking at a specific area, I can look for takeout options in this specific area that I have selected on the map, or delivery options. And then as I'm sorting through restaurants in a specific destination, Google also highlights those restaurants or the amenities and attributes as applicable to those businesses will be highlighted just below the hour information. So we see an example of where this business has curbside pickup and delivery, but no dine-in. So make sure that as your business evolves and changes in the midst of COVID-19 recovery, that you're also evolving and changing those attributes so that information is consistent and correct. Same thing goes for Yelp services. So you just select your basic information and then find the attribute options. They do vary by business category, and it's the same for Google. Some businesses will have more attributes than the other, and some businesses will be able to use attributes that other businesses won't. So just click and apply that which is applicable to your business. Make sure that you've done that across channels, so Google My Business to Yelp. And then the same thing goes for Facebook. New services vary by business category, but include options like online services, delivery, pickup, and more. Temporary service changes can appear on the business's page. And so you can select some different or update temporary service changes within your listing. In that way, again, people are getting the most up-to-date information from your business when looking at your page inside of Facebook. And then TripAdvisor has added some accommodations and restaurant filters. So if you have free cancellations, that's actually an option to select inside of TripAdvisor. And we see some examples here for these different third-party platforms where that free cancellation shows up. People can specifically search for hotels and properties that have free cancellations inside of TripAdvisor, as well as specific restaurant filters that have information and updates in regards to COVID-19. But you'll have to fill out the health and safety features from your profile in order to show in those specific results. So this is kind of what the safety measures look like. So just check all the boxes that apply. This is an overview of the COVID-19 Response Center inside of TripAdvisor. So, are face masks required for staff in public areas? Check the box. Hand sanitizer available to guests and staff? Check the box. And just go through the list and click whatever is applicable. That way you've made the effort of sharing out all of that important information from your listings. Now getting into growing visibility. So we talked about safety measures and then sharing out information about the safety measures and what you've done to combat COVID-19, to reduce the spread from your business, and using the different channels to do that and how to go about it, whether it be a Google My Business post or sharing updates via your banner message or selecting the applicable amenities. Now we're going to talk about just growing visibility for your online listings. So following best practices will help grow your visibility. First off, recent research shows using Google My Business posts regularly can improve business listing visibility. So going back to Google My Business posts, we'd recommend posting at least once a week. It doesn't mean you have to post every day. Don't worry about posting multiple times throughout the week. 1 to 2 posts a week is generally what we would recommend starting with, and seeing how that impacts the visibility of your Google My Business profile. And then being sure that you have business hours, services, and attributes completed will help improve your visibility. So going through everything we just walked through and selecting all of the attributes and your basic information, make sure that that is all consistent is going to help boost your search visibility as well. And then having high quality photo listings or photos for your listing can increase the likelihood of a visitor showing up in person by 2 times. And I know for me personally, typically I'll look at a review of the reviews for a business and then go right to the photos. And that's generally how I go about making a decision of whether or not I'm going to visit a business based off of what are people saying and what does the business look like? What can I expect when stepping foot there? So make sure that you're sharing images and photos of your listing consistently, but also high quality images that best represent your business, show off your business in a positive way, and tell a story too. That's really helpful. And then monitor and respond to customer reviews. That demonstrates responsiveness and can increase the overall conversion of someone just looking at your business online and also physically stepping foot into your business and hopefully spending money while they're there. So one tip here is to pay attention to images. Be sure that you're checking all of the customer photos as they are uploaded to your business profile inside of Google, as well as within Yelp and TripAdvisor, and then flagging anything that's of poor quality or maybe misleading potential future guests. And so on top of that, as you're checking what customers have uploaded, we also recommend uploading photos as consistently as you can. Along the same lines, be sure that you set up your cover photo and logo inside of Google My Business. This is the first image and the most visible image for your entire profile. So make sure you're making the right first impression based off of that image there, that that image is a great representation of what somebody can expect when visiting your business. So set your cover photo, set your logo up. That can help with branding. And again, that's going to be your most visible content. So make sure that you're sharing a photo that best represents your business. Some research here from Bright Local shows that businesses with more than 100 images have significantly higher conversion rates in regards to how people are interacting with the business, whether they're visiting your website, they're requesting directions or calls. So the more photos you have is kind of one of the things that can encourage more visitation or more conversion to your business. They also have higher exposure rates, suggesting that photo volume and frequency of how photos are posted is an important ranking signal. So by uploading more and more photos, not only does it show Google that you're engaged, but it's also increasing the likelihood of boosting your exposures for your listing, and as well as exposures within photos or photo views. So just a quick little tip from our end is to add 4 to 5 photos per month for a 10 to 30% lift in exposures for your business. So doesn't mean you have to hire a photographer every month. Doesn't have to be a photo shot with a DSLR, although if you have the ability to do that, we'd recommend it. You can use your smartphone, use your iPhone or your Pixel phone or Android system, and make sure you're shooting photos that just best represent your business. You can edit the photos a little bit, meaning apply a little bit of a boost in exposure or brightness, saturation, contrast, pull up the shadows. Just make sure that you're uploading photos that are attractive, that inspire a click, and that also tell a positive story of your business or the products and services within your business. And then staying on top of reviews is also a important factor in how your business profile and how your listings appear in specific search results. So 86% of consumers, this is some research again by Bright Local, shows that consumers read reviews for local businesses. So majority of people are going to read reviews before making a decision. And only 57% of consumers will use a business if it has 4 or more stars. So that means the competition gets really stiff in that 4 stars and above ranking. So make sure that if you're not at 4 stars, that you're doing everything in your power to get your listing up to a 4-star ranking, because that can mean the difference between somebody visiting a competitor or a similar business rather than visiting yours based off of the rating on your profile. And then this one's really important that many of us or many of you business owners probably haven't or didn't really think about, and that is 89% of consumers read businesses' responses to reviews. People want to know what you have to say. They want to see that you're engaged with your listing. And by engaging with positive and negative reviews shows that you are playing an active role, that you care, and that you are, there's kind of an easy way to also instill more confidence in somebody visiting your business, knowing that they can leave a review and expect a response from you as the owner or manager based on their experience. So one of the tips for staying on top of reviews, specifically within Google My Business, is to check the box for email alerts when customer reviews are posted. That way you can respond to reviews in as much of real time as possible. Some best practices provided by Google to respond to reviews would be: 1, ignore minor complaints; 2, address issues constructively; 3, don't use responses to advertise; 4, don't offer users anything in exchange; 5, be professional and polite. Going back to number 4, don't offer users anything. One of the main reasons for that is so you don't have future guests abuse that. If you come back in or if you're in a review thread and someone leaves you a 1-star review and you try to make right by saying, hey, we'll give you $10 off your next purchase if you come see me, my name's Josh, and we'll get you settled. If someone reads that, then they'll know that they will likely have a similar response from you. So it can just negatively impact and people can abuse that. So don't offer users anything. Don't use responses to advertise. And with regard to the be professional and polite, I also like to add in a little bit of a personal touch. And so including your name, your role, maybe calling something specifically out in their review, like, hey, I'm glad you enjoyed the buffalo burger. Next time, we'd recommend trying the bacon buffalo burger or whatever. But if you can call out something specifically, show that you actually are that you paid attention to the review, adds a bit more of a personal touch. Now, in response to negative reviews, first, it's really important to respond to them, but in a best case scenario, encourage them to contact you offline. And that way you can kind of sort through or resolve the negative review over the phone rather than through the thread. Because as we saw earlier, 89% of people are interested in reading businesses' responses to reviews. And if you get into a back and forth kind of battle royale with that user or with that guest, that is going to be a visible thread that people can read, and it doesn't look good for you or for your business. So try to get them to contact you offline, have them call you. If you're able to resolve it, then ask them politely to remove the review, so therefore it doesn't impact your rating. So that brings us to a close here for our 3 keys to inspire confidence within travelers across online listing channels like Google My Business, Facebook, Yelp, and TripAdvisor. So remember, first off, you want to think about establishing safety first, being creative in how you want to share that story, and then getting into sharing that information across channels, and then grow visibility by uploading photos, by generating more and more reviews. Now, we've also got another webinar series or another webinar that will be working with LOT on scheduling, and that will be a deeper dive into Google My Business and just kind of all the tricks of the trade and what you can do to have an optimized listing. So we'll have information about that next webinar series coming out shortly. That date is to be determined. But until then, we have time allotted for office hours. So if you would like to schedule a meeting with me to kind of walk through your different listings, these are about 15-minute blocks for me to walk through. We'll do a little bit of a video conference and then do a screen share. So ideally, have you on a computer, and that way we can walk through any kind of issues you might be experiencing. So if you do need assistance with any of your listings, schedule that time. It's going to be this link here. Remember that we will send over, or the LOT team will send over the recording from today's webinar as well as the PDF. So you can click this link, or if you can write down really quick, you can write down calendly.com and then all the information to gain access to the office hours. But to make things easier, Casey on our team included it in the chat box. You can click that link there and schedule your time with me to walk through your listings. So that brings us again to our close for today's session, but I do want to open it up to any questions and answers. And so there's a couple ways that we can kind of go about doing that. You can first off ask a question in the chat box, which I have open on my end. You can message that directly to me, or you can message it directly to everyone. I'll answer publicly. Or if you want to unmute yourself, you can do that as well. I just want to thank each and every one of you for attending today. I know there's a lot happening in throughout the state of Louisiana, so I appreciate you making time for this presentation today. I do want to thank the Louisiana Office of Tourism for making this available to each and every one of you. I hope that you learned and gleaned a solid amount of information to then apply to your business information online. So we're going to keep some time open here for any questions and answers if they come through. And I'll keep the webinar recording until we completely wrap up here. Doesn't look like we have any Q&A at this time. But again, remember, if you want to schedule office hours, go into the chat box, select the Calendly link there, and then you can schedule that time with me to walk through your listing. And then keep your eyes out for an update regarding the next webinar session. I know, as Doug mentioned, this is going to be kind of just this ongoing series that LOT will release in regards to information across many different channels and platforms. The next one that we at Miles Partnership will be covering will be focusing on Google My Business advanced tips and tricks. So really making the most out of your presence within Google My Business. So we'll leave this open for another minute or two, see if any other questions come through. All righty. Well, no questions came in. So without further ado, I'll go ahead and wrap up today's session. Thank you to each and every one of you for attending this webinar. Again, big thank you to the Louisiana Office of Tourism. We look forward to the next session, and I look forward to meeting with you, each and every one of you individually that schedule office hours. Again, keep your eyes peeled for the next webinar date and time. And I'm looking forward to it. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll make sure that the LOT team gets access to the recording as well as the PDF so they can distribute to each and every one of the participants for today's session. So again, have a great day, and we'll talk to you all very, very soon. Thank you.